back very well after last year, and then this year it's stripped again,
Wipe
so
them out again.
I'm probably gonna have to take that one out. But the rest of them are okay.
Wow.
I don't know. It's frustrating.
She was,
She's like, I missed the first one. I'm like, wait, you sick already? No, I got a wedding. Okay. I guess that's excusable.
Those things.
yeah.
Just change the date, you know what? Yeah, I just got
Oh, well.
Call the meeting to order, and Lee, you can do our application for us.
Just thank you for letting us all come here together tonight. Give us discernment and wisdom over what we're going to do here tonight, and for the rest of the week. Amen.
And if you would join me for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
And I'd like to do a roll call for us.
Gary?
Here.
Here. Christie?
Here.
Jeff?
Here.
Lee?
Here.
Renee?
Yes, ma'am.
Tracy?
Absent. Next, we have our approval of the agenda, and I would like to add one thing here, because some people know, we were talking about the water pump at Beagle Field, and I thought I had it sorted, but things changed a little bit. If we could add that in as the last decision item for a water pump.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
No. We have to amend, because Carrie was not present at this meeting.
Okay, that's next.
Oh, this is the agenda.
That's just the agenda.
Oh, the agenda for tonight.
Yep.
We're doing the motion for tonight.
That's the next thing.
I just want to make sure.
All right, so we have a motion by Carrie to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Support.
Support by Nola. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of the past meeting minutes.
No.
We
You're doing
need,
that.
yeah, there needs some amendments.
Yep.
I was supposedly, well, I was absent, and I was on here twice as a voting in the affirmative.
Okay.
And so that's kind of hard for me to do when I'm not here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which ones?
That was, who was it? You also have Renee voted in here twice. Yes and no, the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had caught that one. So, resolution
Here we go.
2022-16 for ARPA fund expenditures.
Yep,
No
page
should just be none.
Yep, page 3 or 4 on the Duff Road sale. Says I voted yes. And then the Michelin Road paving contract also said I voted yes.
Also on the Michelin Road paving contract, if you remember, I was at the end and I said I wanted to vote last. And I voted no to represent the people.
Okay.
So I voted no on that one.
Okay, yeah. All right.
And then Dimester is spelled wrong. Last page. It is spelled D-U-I-M-S-T-R-A. There's no public comment.
D-Y-S.
D-U-I-M-S-T-R-A.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So, with those adjustments,
Make a motion to accept the draft.
all right,
Don't read
that's a
this
motion
for May
to.
9th, 2022.
All right, perfect. Motion by Nola, do we have a second?
Second.
Support by Carrie, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have our May 23rd meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes on May 23rd, 2022.
Motion by Carrie. Do we have a
Support.
support by Nola, any other discussion by the board? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the May 27th meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for May 27th, 2023.
Motion by Nola, support by Carrie. Any other discussion by the board? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have our treasurer's report. Any thoughts or questions?
Make a motion to approve.
We just put it on
There's no
file.
questions on it, it's about the file.
Yep, just put it on file.
That's the next one here.
The next one, paying the bills, we do have to approve that.
I make a motion to approve paying the bills.
Motion by Nola,
I'll second that.
support by Carrie. Any discussion among the board? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Lee,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
Christie. Noah,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
and Jeff.
Yes. Passes. Next, we have our fire department report, if you would, chief.
I submitted a report, 91 calls for service last month, a little over 7.5 minutes, which is still well below the standard. I received a phone call late last week. There's been some illness at the plant and back order on some of the equipment we need for the new heavy rescue. They pushed it out about a month now, so it'll probably be mid to end July, which still isn't that far out, but it's progressing well. Other than that, we haven't had anything significant. We've just been quite busy.
Thank you. Yeah, we know there's logistical issues in the world, so it's surprising they were able to stand on track so long. Next, we have our planning commission report, if you would, Lee.
So we met May 31st, 2 items for public hearing. First was a special use application for a ground mount solar array. Applicant was at the meeting and explained a few details the commission had, or explained a few details to the commission, answered a couple questions we had. Motion approved. Second on the agenda was ordinance amendment 2022-04 for the animals, gardening, site drainage, and existing residential uses and commercial zoning. This was the final step for the planning commission after working for the last couple months on it. One minor change in wording was recognized and motion approved for board approval.
Thank you. And if you would, the report home?
June 7th of 2022, Marvin Nash was excused from the meeting, but all other board members were present. Approval of the minutes of April 18, 2022. Motion by myself with David Glick supporting. Passes ZBA-22-04 for 2642 Johnston Road. There was variance request for Brian Wolfus for William Rink, partial 6107-835-000-0007-00 to extend an attached deck into the front yard setback 40 from high water mark. Williams stated that he would like the deck squared off as opposed to an angle deck. Rocks are already in place and proposed deck will cover over existing rocks. The neighbors have a shed that's in line with the proposed deck, so it doesn't obstruct view for neighbors. So I motion to accept the variance as proposed building of the deck, and David Glick supported. Variance passed it, all in favor. There were no old or new business to discuss, and the motion to adjourn was at 6:20 p.m.
Thank you. Next, we're moving on to our first public comment, and we've seen a few people coming through that are running for office and have introduced themselves. And we have at least the one here tonight. So same rules, up to 3 minutes like everyone else, and you would come up and feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I appreciate your courtesy. As I mentioned to some of the board members, I need to be in 2 places at once, and I still haven't figured out the solution for that because Blue Lake is having their township meeting shortly. My name is Bruce Fralick. I'm from the city of Montague. I've served on 4 different public boards in the last 10 years. The Countywide Library Board, 4 years on the local fire board up in Montague. Then on the ambulance board since 2017, where I'm still serving and the vice chair of that board, and a total of 8 years on the city council in Montague. So I have a fair amount of experience on public boards like yourselves, auditing. In fact, on all 4 of those boards, we hired a new executive officer within the period that I was on each board. So I'm familiar with the single biggest decision that any of the boards get is who to hire. You might even recognize the name Freilich if you know the history of the John Deere Company, the land in Waterloo, Iowa that gave birth to the Waterloo Boy Tractor Factory. Was before that the tractor factory for my great-great-uncle, who invented the first gasoline tractor capable of driving in reverse. You'll find that, a model of that in a place called the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. And it's recognized, there's a replica of it at the Deere headquarters in Moline, Illinois, and they get the replica out once or twice a year and run it around the track so that it stays oiled up. I have a lot of history in the local area. I have great-grandparents buried in Fremont with their offspring, another set of great-grandparents buried in Muskegon with their offspring. And my father and his brother both graduated from Muskegon High. And I lived, my family lived, I should say, in Hart until I was 10. So retiring here, coming to this part of Michigan, felt like coming home. So I mostly want to hear what people's concerns are. I've left a card with each of the members of the board here, and my contact information is there. So as you get concerns, please let me know what those are. Thank you for your courtesy to allow me to speak early.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And now, off to Blue Lake.
Drive safe.
Thanks again. Open day. What's this, yours or mine? Must be mine, okay. Thank you.
All right, if anyone would like to make public comments on anything we have on the agenda, feel free to come up at this time to the lectern, state your name and let us know. Thank you. All right. We will move on to our decision items then, the first one being Twin Lake fireworks. Obviously, you know, it's one thing that's done every year.
I make the motion to approve. Twin Lake fireworks display for 2022, since it's right in front of my house. Support.
Support.
Motion by Renee, support by Noah. Any other discussion on the board?
It's gonna be a great year, right?
All right, by myself.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. So we appreciate you bringing in that information and getting set up for that.
No problem. I wanted to let you guys know it'll be a $19,000 show this year.
Wow. Wow.
So it's, yeah, about 4,000 higher than normal.
Good fundraising, organizing effort.
It's doing great. Can Trailer does excellent.
Next, we have our Russell Road land bid opening, and I did end up with a bid.
Yay.
So we have one sealed bid. I will open now. Attempting to not cut what's inside. Alright, dear Jeff and Township Board, I would like to start by thanking you for accepting my request and putting up for bids the strips of land for parcels that would allow me to run a much shorter route for electricity to the home I'm in the process of building, and for the reconsideration of the minimum bid price at last month's meeting. I was able to watch the discussion on the video recording of the Township Board meeting, and I appreciate all the thought that went into it. I would like to point out that the wide differences between the values that came in from the real estate agents as well as between them and the assessor illustrates my point well, that using real estate agents for this purpose, any of whom could easily have a conflict of interest considering that they are also often real estate purchasers, is an unreliable plan at best. Therefore, I appreciate your decision to pass the motion to go with the assessor as the normal approach. Since the motion was passed to make this plot of land available at a minimum price of $22,500, I'm officially offering to purchase the land, parcels, and they list the 4 parcels for $22,500.
I make the motion to accept the bid at $22,500.
I'll second that.
Motion by Noah, second by Renee. Any other discussion among the board?
I'm happy for it.
Hearing none, roll call vote.
Nola,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
Lee,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes. Motion passes. Congrats. Next, we have ordinance 2022-04 concerning animals and gardening, site drainage, and residential pre-existing uses in commercial districts. So a number of different things have been being worked on here, and we heard Lee mention it in his notes about the planning commission. And I know that, I mean, some of these things, you know, I've been talking about for over 3 years now. And so we've gotten to them in a substantive form. So it's been a long time, but I think they came out decent and they went through the process as we're supposed to with the planning commission. So that's what we're seeing here in front of us.
I make the motion to approve ordinance 2022-04 pertaining to animals, gardening, site drainage, and existing residential uses in commercial zoning districts.
Support.
Motion by Carrie, supported by Lee. Any other discussion on the board? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Harry,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
Christie, Nola,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have 2370 Duff Road being up for sale. And we had the appraisal for this before, 285. And then we were able to have the two real estate agents volunteer. They were able to go out and visit and go through. And we have letters from both of them on this about the various prices. And the house is in rough shape, obviously, as I've said. And so it sounds, our assessor thought the same thing. The 284 was high as far as it goes, just because of the shape. If you're going on purely comparables for sales, then that would seem reasonable. And so both these come in right around $200,000, they figure, for making the minimum on this.
Reading over the two, I'm getting an average. I'm going to go with Alan Tucker's recommendation for $200,000 for the minimum bid.
I'll support that.
All right, so we have a motion by Carrie to put it up for bid at a minimum of $200,000 even, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, we have that supported by Noah. Any other discussion among the board? No? All right, roll call vote.
Harry,
Yes.
Nola,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
Christie, Jeff.
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have resolution 2022-15 for increasing the sewer rate. Obviously, we've been looking at this for quite a long time and had the study done and looked at our different options and sent these out as a notice to 132 people that I believe are customers on there. I heard back from a handful, and obviously, no one's ever happy that prices are going up. But the feedback from the people that I had heard back from was surprisingly positive. They were glad that they knew there was a big problem. They're glad that someone's tackling it. And so it's been a widely known financial issue in the township since 2006, so for a very long time. And the thing that I didn't include in here is when it starts. And I talked to the county, because we can determine it. I talked to the county about when it should kick in, and they figure out August 1st. So if someone makes a motion to pass it, we can include that in the motion for starting on August 1st.
I make the motion to approve resolution 2022-15, increasing the sewer rate to begin August 2022.
I'll second that.
Perfect. Motion by Nola, support by Carrie. Any other discussion among the board?
Yeah, this is maybe something for the future that we need to talk about. On page 9, I saw something that was quite disturbing.
Wait, that's the next thing. That's the
Next thing?
Oh,
That's
the
the
ordinance?
Yes, of this ordinance.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is just the resolution for the rate itself.
Right, I'm just saying, maybe the discussion part of it, I'd like to address that part.
Okay.
Who determines the rate and what it would increase to?
So the rate
How
will-
do we come up with that amount?
So the rate will increase from the $25 per RU per month that it's currently at, $5 for 3 months in a row, starting on August 1st. And then stop that increase at $40 per RU per month. And then be set up for yearly review.
It's in here.
The $38.96 per RU per month is what we are charged by the Muskegon Charter for
Right.
the portion that borders them on the south. All right, so we have a motion and support to pass this resolution. Any other discussion? Just on the sewer rate resolution. Roll call vote.
Nola,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
Steve,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have ordinance 2022-05 for regulating the sewer. And so, sounds like we'll have more discussion on this. This was drawn up the last time those sewer rates were increased in 2011, but it was never passed. Now, the lawyers go back over it to adjust anything that needs to be adjusted as of now. I'm not sure exactly why it got bogged down at that time, so long ago. But it was mentioned in our rate study by Municipal Analytics that we had some holes in the ordinances, and so it would need to be adjusted. I believe you were saying there's something on page 9?
Yeah, Article 3, page 9, section 303. I'm going to read this paragraph. Mandatory connection to system. The owner of any structure in which sewage originates or the owner of any property containing structures in which sewage originates that is situated within the township and abuts on any street, alley, or right-of-way in which there is a located or may be in the future be located a public sewer of the township within 200 feet from the property line containing a structure in which sewage originates is hereby required at his or her expense to install suitable toilet facilities therein and to connect such facilities directly with the public sewer in accordance with the provisions of this ordinance when given official notice to do so, provided that such connection shall not be required to be made less than 6 months after public sewer is made available for connection thereto, unless otherwise provided by agreement of the owner in the township. And it also goes down into mandatory connections. So here's the thing. We have lots of people here that come into the country. They don't want to be city sewer. They don't want to be city water. That's why they come to the country. Okay. I'm one of them.
Me too.
I have a septic field. It's perfectly fine. It was checked when we bought the house. It was looked over. It's not leaking. And to be told, now we have a house that was just built across the lake here, 2 years ago. Brand new home, beautiful home. And I know they have a brand new septic system put in. So how I know? I watched them put it in. So now let's say the city comes in there and says, okay, we're going to put a new sewer line. We're going to make you, now you have to hook up.
And if you don't,
We're going to
they will
mandate
fine
you to do this. You don't have a choice. I'm sorry, that's overreach.
It is
That's overreach. And I think that this paragraph needs to be struck out sometime in the future.
So it's a lot more complex than that. We have one drawer of lawsuits for the Water Policy Board over exactly this type of stuff. And so what it is there's a few different municipalities, right? The municipalities in the area sit on multiple different systems. One being the Wastewater Management Committee, which is much larger throughout the county, and then the Water System Policy Board, that is a little smaller. It's just a few municipalities in there. And so those have to interact, and they have to end up having the same policies. It sounds, because of the mandatory connections, we're dealing with them with the Water System Policy Board right now. It sounds a little more like that one, and I have a whole drawer of lawsuits on that from the past. This one is specifically on the sewer, and so us adapting it to be different than the rest of the municipalities within the Wastewater Management Committee is an issue. And when those disagree, or when the local municipalities can't get on board at the same time, there's no good way to resolve these other than lawsuits. The Water System Policy Board is more of an issue as far as I understand in the Wastewater Management Committee. I can look at it more, but I know the mandatory connection wording is in there, so I don't think we'll be able to eliminate it.
So basically, we're being strong-armed, you do it whether you like it or not.
Well, from what I understand, the way that the system's designed, it starts at the local level, they're local, okay? The county, we tell the county what we want. Starting here, no, that's how it works. It starts out, people tell us what they want in their little community, the township.
No, that's a good
And
theory.
the township, that's how it's designed to be.
It's called subsidiarity. right, is the idea that you want the most power at the lowest level, which I strongly agree with. The country is not set up like that. The strongest level, I think, we'd make the case is the states. And then they create all the municipalities below them, and we can say that they created the
Well, I
feds.
beg to differ, because if you look in history, there was no state of Michigan, but you had a lot of townships, a lot of areas growing within the state. And because of them, we became a state. Without them, the state would not be here today. It started because of the people. And I'm telling you right now, it's a power struggle. And the state and the county are trying to tell us what to do. I don't always have to agree with them, and I'm telling you right now, we can make these changes. And yeah, there might be a lawsuit, but this is overreach. This is blatant overreach.
I feel it is too. Why would they allow septic systems in the first place?
It's not even by the lake shore.
It's the whole community. It's the whole township. It would affect the whole township of wherever they chose to run the city
If we
sewage.
ran more sewer. Right.
That's not something.
We're
And that's part of why
We're not doing it in my
it's such a
time.
big hole.
But,
Worrying about stuff they don't have.
well, there also ends up being issues with financing projects if people aren't going to connect if you're running the sewer.
Of course, that's why we have
Yes,
this big
that's why
water
they mandated
situation.
people to buy into it. I don't want it, I shouldn't have to pay for it. It's like, I don't want to pay for his car payment because he bought a brand new Subaru.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? He wants to buy a Subaru, that's his payment, not mine.
yeah.
Right.
That's choice, personal choice.
Yeah, I mean,
So maybe sometime future, look into it, and we can talk about it again later. But this is something that we definitely have to address.
I will not support this.
yeah, we can just leave it how it is. It's had the same holes since 2011, so we can just let it operate that way.
Thank you for letting me address it.
Oh, no, I mean, that's what these are for, to address them. And it is, I mean, it's quite beastly an ordinance. So, yeah, our public utilities are quite expensive. All right, so are we, well, is anyone making a motion on ordinance 2022-05?
I'll make that motion to accept it.
What accepted?
Wait, for the sewer rate increase?
Back up the truck.
Wait, which one?
No, we already, sewer rate increase. We're on the ordinance.
Oh, that one, oh, yeah, that was different.
I guess one question before we do that.
I thought it was just discussing.
If you wanna do this, if like you wanna disapprove it, don't approve, what happens?
Right now, we already have the ordinance that's in place currently, and so it'll just continue operating like that.
Is it, I didn't look at the old, the current one right now, is this different than the current one?
This is different than the current one, that is correct. Yeah.
Maybe we should table this, you know something, I want to table this and look at the other ordinance first. I'm going to table
You
it,
don't wanna do
I want to
that.
do a comparison.
Is there any problems with the one that we currently have?
Well,
Just
there are some,
Not in continuity with the water policy board stuff, is that what it is?
Chief, I'd like to hear your.
I got nothing to say, I'm just as a citizen.
no, it was recommended when we did the by municipal analytics, that the sewer rate needed to be updated, because he didn't think, he thought it had some weaknesses and some holes. That's why this was originally prepared back in 2011. What those are offhand, I can't remember offhand. But I had municipal analytics and the lawyers talk, to make sure that those were shored up in this ordinance. But we do have an ordinance currently in place for wastewater.
I guess again, just not the same question, but if we left the one that we have now, if we wanted to wait or whatever, is there any drawbacks with this current one?
I think there are because of some of those holes, but there's no obvious disaster that jumps out to me. It's concerns that should be addressed. Yeah. No, it's a good question.
That's
All right, if we have some sort of imminent disaster.
Yes.
So if we don't have an imminent disaster that I know of, that's pending. in this field. All right, do we have any other questions on this, or do we have any motions? Just so we end up having a vote on it, I will make a motion. Let's see. All right, I make the motion to approve ordinance 2022-05 for the sewer. Is there support? Hearing no support, we will move on. Next, we have our water pump that we added to the agenda. No, I can't, I could call for a vote, but with having no support, I won't call for a vote. Next, we have the water pump, which we added. And so what this is our irrigation. It was working at Beagle Sports Park, and then it went down. And obviously there's a lot of logistical issues in the world. It had it checked out and came back that the pump was bad. Our first quote was over $8,000. The second quote I was able to get was under $5,000, but both those are saying that it's going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks to order things, get them in, because the manufacturers of the pumps don't have the equipment. But because the one came in under $5,000, I was going to approve it so it could get rolling on it. Luckily, Alan knew someone that he was able to reach out to at Walkerville Well Drilling and Supply, and they have one in stock. And so they will move on it much faster, hopefully this week. I told him that I was bringing it to this board meeting. It's a little over $5,000, so I needed board approval for it, and that's why we're adding it to the agenda now. But it comes to $5,459.25.
Make a motion to approve funds for the pump.
We have a motion to approve the funds for the pump.
Support.
Support by Nola. Any other discussion among the board? All right, roll call vote.
Carrie,
Yes.
Nola,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
Christie,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes. Motion passes. And then I'll reach out to them tonight to get rolling on that. Next, we have our ARPA graphs. Was Renee poured into this before? And so I've got 2 of them here. The first one is showing what we approved in that first resolution. And that a huge amount is obviously 4 roads because of the $200,000. And then smaller amounts for the audio-visual system, for the Unicode, potentially the website. We'll work on that a bit later, in the security system. The next one is more speculation, because I was going for the overall numbers. But the large blue section on the left is the projected amount for doing roads over 2 years for $200,000 each, so it's $400,000. And then there's the little brown section that breaks out into potentially some of these different things. I'm already moving on the heater for the maintenance building, because those were broken. But I got a quote that came in under $5,000 on that, so we're moving at a good time. Backblade is more debatable. Parks and lakes have been discussed. Also broadband we've discussed, had a hard time getting anyone to move on it. But we might have Comcast making a proposal eventually. We'll see. We obviously have huge documentation and organization issues here, and I looked into that, into digitizing. That is certainly not cheap. In the one building, or in the one room that we have in maintenance, just stacks of boxes of all sorts of stuff. The quotes came in between $30,000 and $50,000 to digitize that room. And so a significant bill there. We obviously, some of us have talked about maintenance has a couple of trucks that are in decently bad shape. We should probably at least move on one. So that isn't on here. So that would change some of these numbers as well. Lower.
So the trucks, they definitely need some.
I got a question about roads too. Like,
Yeah.
I rode my bike here today, I rode it here the other day as well, and on my way back through, I wanna say about 1.5 miles up the road on the right-hand side, or north side of the road, there's like that much of a drop off to this lady's driveway. Who maintains, and the road is being broken down in front of her driveway, who maintains that type of a situation? Like, her car could easily get hung up on that.
Generally, the person, if it's close enough to the road, like that skirting of the road.
It's the road falling apart,
Mhm.
and then the dirt next to the road is completely gone.
Mhm.
So there's a big, like 5 inch at least drop. Like on a bike for me, on my 3-wheeler, to get off the road right there, it's a pretty scary situation.
Right,
You know, but I'm thinking about the lady and her vehicle.
right.
You know, that's just, who maintains that type of a thing?
Right along the road commission will do things, including, they'll cut back brush for sight lanes and some of the ditching and that type of stuff. But their jurisdiction drops off pretty quick on the edge of the road for normal ongoing maintenance.
Because anytime they've done road maintenance, they go in the driveway a little bit.
If you're having a major redo on the road, they'll do more.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know the lady, I just saw the situation, and I'm like, it's pretty rugged, it's really rugged.
Well, a lot of times where like cement and gravel is, you
Mhm.
meet, you end up, even on roads, you end up with big
Oh,
divots
yeah,
in the
oh, yeah,
transition.
oh, yeah. Been all over.
Yeah.
And as far as these different graphs go, I understand, I mean, the roads are important, for sure, and that's gonna be a huge part of the ARPA budget regardless of what we do. But after we came and we sat with, when we came to the meeting Friday a week ago or so and met and got to actually meet the maintenance people and talk with everybody here, and when we walked out and we went and saw what they're dealing with as far as those trucks go, I mean, those are major liabilities. That's not just, oh, I wanna upgrade. I mean, they're in some rough shape.
They have one
So-
in the house and in the garage.
I understand that roads are important, and they are, and they're already a huge, obviously more than 50% of the ARPA budget. But what my thought process is, I think we need to use the ARPA funds. I like the second graph better, to be able to address the maintenance of the trucks and the things that need to be done. And then as we continue to sell peripherally properties and we're able to pay off the debt from the sewer, then as we progress, because we have a short amount of time for ARPA funds, correct me on this if I'm wrong. It has to be, so it has to be, but it has to be earmarked by 2024.
Correct.
Right.
And then spent before 2026. So I would like to see as much, I'd like to see the second graph personally.
They're not competing graphs.
No, I understand that, but they're two different, the first one is that more in the roads.
Is what we've already approved.
Right,
Okay,
that's
so
right.
how do we change that? 'Cause-
Change what we've approved.
yes.
No, future. This is for the future. This has already been done.
This is already done.
Yeah, that's right here marked. It's already.
I think it would be a very bad plan to try to roll
Okay.
back what we've approved.
Okay, all right. I just understand that what they're dealing with in the maintenance, I'm just concerned.
Right, but that's not all of the
That's
money.
all the money.
Oh, I see.
Right, because
This
we're
is
getting-
just
That's a
the
percentage of it.
Right, we're getting over
I thought this was the whole,
$800,000.
this is not the whole.
No, this is
Thank you.
only a little over $200,000.
All right, I feel much better.
Out of over here at 46,000.
Okay, all right, I understand that.
I just wanted to show what that first resolution had looked like essentially.
Okay, all right, I'm good. That's all I wanted, I just wanted to understand that a little better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's so much to maintain here. The buildings from the 1970s and stuff, so. All right, anything else on the ARPA funds, ARPA grants? All right, next we have our second public comments. If anyone would like to make a comment on anything, feel free to come up. Any questions?
There you go.
Hi there, Rachel Church, your local lineman, Dalton Branch, 38 Fort.
It's been a long day. First day of the summer reading program today, we had 50 people come for our magic show. So we worried about that because we haven't had a program in the last 2 years because of COVID. So it's our first time back live program. So we're really excited about that. And I gave you all a newsletter. Anybody else wants one, it's online. You come into the library and get that. All the programs, there's kids, teens, adults, oceans of possibilities, lots of sponsors, very generous sponsors we have this year with those great prizes, bicycles, and, video game stuff. If you read 6 books as an adult, you're gonna get a free car wash, and so lots of things to look forward to next week on Monday at 3 o'clock, Jumbo Zoo, bring their traveling zoo to us. So, yeah, come in and see that.
Is it in here?
Yeah, yeah. So, right there, all the programs on page 7, you can see all the summer reading programs. And we've also partnered with the Kids Food Basket. So on Mondays, on the day of our programs, they bring out 100 snack lunches, and we gave away 80 of them today. So, yeah, for people that were coming and going, we just.
Give another one. I didn't get one.
I thought you making me
We can share.
Okay.
Is that
Just wanted to remind you to come on out. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you keeping us updated. Good, anyone else on anything else?
Thank you, Ben. You're so generous.
Any comment from the board? No? All right, then I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by Noah, second by Carrie, all in favor say aye.
Thank you, Marilyn.